Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and thank you for tuning in again to this week's Lost in the Wasteland. And this is a very special one because I have one of my oldest and best friends, Matt Williams, joining me, who had originally piloted my show, um, Beyond the Waste. Well, what the hell did we call it? Uh, we had been doing a show early 2020, and we're going to try to do a regular thing, and then 2020 happened. So, and then, but we've been doing our top tens each year, which you need to watch more movies, so you have 10 movies to talk about, Matt.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like I've hovered like around like six since March.
and then we do the podcast together now with Alex, so Development Hell. So obviously you all see Matt and I interact a lot, so this should be fun. Now, I'm going to get the interview started. So looking at my first question, so if you watched our podcast, our first podcast, or I guess technically it was the second episode, you might know this answer already. But Matt, what is your favorite film?
Okay. I'm gonna go Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction. It's I think a couple weeks ago, and not even a couple years ago, I was like bored. I went on Rotten Tomatoes and I typed in Pulp Fiction, and it does not have 100%. It does not have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I forget what it has, like 90 or 98, something like that. Or at least when I saw it, and I was like, I'm really curious. What is the worst thing someone could ever say about the movie? And I think like the few negative reviews basically said it's too much, and like I don't care. Also, if you watch Tarantino movies, everything is too much, sort of. But that's like the coolness about it. Like, yeah, there's drugs and there's violence and there's screaming and there's like moral ambiguity. But the cool thing about that movie, I guess, first and foremost, the cast. If like if you if you've seen enough movies, not even cinephile level, you've seen enough movies, you're gonna see a lot of like famous people where it's like, oh crap, like that person acted in the same movie. So the cast is awesome, and then also there are a couple of like really cool scenes in terms of just the acting. Like the acting is really good, and then the story is just so different because it's interesting, but then it's also like it's a story like from point A to point B, and then someone took a cleaver and just like chopped it up, scrambled it, and then sewed it together. So then you kind of have to like, oh wait, that person, okay, I'm following this person. Oh wait, so that person died. Wait, why is that person alive again? Oh, that's because of that thing happened. Like, it's a fantastic movie. I think everyone should watch it if they're okay with hearing the F word. Um, but I think it's a fantastic movie. It it was nominated for and got Best Original Screenplay, and it should have gotten I think it was also nominated for Best Actor too with John Travolta, but it was should have got Best Supporting Actor for Samuel Jackson, but that went to Ed Wood, and I don't know if anybody even talks about Ed Wood anymore. But
Martin Landau's performance in Bela Lugosi was a treasure, Matt, but it was no
a
Jewel.
forgettable treasure.
What, Matt?
You don't see people, you don't see like high school students walking around with Martin Landau on their t-shirts. It's jewels on their t-shirts. But like
Hashtag,
also be weird.
where's Samuel L. Jackson's Oscar?
For real, can we start that hashtag? Like if we can get Leo to get his Oscar, can we get Samuel L. Jackson? But yeah, that's also did Glenn Close get an Oscar?
Hmm?
Did Glenn Close get an Oscar? She's like also up there in terms of like she's always in awesome thing, but she never gets any giant awards. I feel like I don't think she
Nobody can beat Peter O'Toole and his like
every
9 Oscar nominations and never won one before passing away. But
that and you're cinematographer guy.
Deacons.
Yeah.
But now he has two, so
Yeah.
cat's out of the bag. So, but a couple of thoughts. So I had this watch up my ass. This watch, just Christopher Walken, and like Samuel L. Jackson was on a whole other level in that movie, and just was amazing. And so this movie has a particular special place in our relationship, Matt and I here, because back when we were working over the summer, one summer at the what is now the Academic Success Center at Rider University, we dressed up every Friday as movie characters, and Matt and I dressed up as Jules and Vincent. And so, like, we were in our black suits, then black ties, and we wound up going to went to go to IHOP afterwards. And we tried to. I believe Matt, you wanted to pretend that we didn't know who Quentin Tarantino was. If somebody brought up that we were dressed up like Jules and Vincent, and I wanted to pretend we were Mormons.
Yep.
See how people would react. So obviously this movie had an important, like a nice special place for Matt and I in our relationship.
I miss restaurant Shane.
Yeah, I have to order from Perkins for delivery for my birthday this year. Still getting my Perkins though. Nope, nothing will stop me.
Nothing will stop.
Now, Matt, what is your earliest memory of going to the movies?
Oh wow. My
Pulp
earliest
Fiction.
memory of
Matt was like
going.
3 years old.
Yeah, this is like wow. That is far back. Uh, Jurassic. Did Bugs Life come after Jurassic Park?
Bugs
Okay,
Life came out in
I'm gonna.
99. Jurassic Park came out in 94. Or
Oh, okay, yeah,
93.
93. Okay, then what was Jurassic Park 2? Like, I didn't see the first
97.
7. Okay. When did Toy Story come out?
95.
Maybe Toy Story was probably my earliest. Yeah,
Good choice.
yeah. I would say that. Uh, Iron Giant. I remember watching that multiple times.
Superman.
And that's not like that's a sad movie. At least the ending is. And a deep movie too, actually. But yeah, those movies definitely. But then and then another early memory. I really wish I remembered like my first ever time going to the theater, but I remember my first rated R movie. That was when I was 8 years old, and that's when I saw, whoa, The Matrix.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa,
I know Kung Fu.
guns, more guns.
Mr. Anderson.
So fantastic.
This
So
place is a disease. Honestly, that's one of my, like, I know we had our podcast on movie monologues, and I wish I remembered that one to talk about because I just love Agent Smith being like talking some shit on humanity right there.
he's like calling us just like this is the worst possible thing ever, and it's like, wait, but you're planning to destroy her. Yeah, that was
The
crazy. It was
smell.
crazy.
The smell, I can't stand it. Just, oh, and that's quite an impressive first rated R movie to see being The Matrix.
Oh yeah, I definitely watched that like after everyone was asleep, and like I think like my mom rented it, and I didn't tell her, and she's not a movie person at all, so like she didn't know that it was R. I just remember like covering up the fact that it was R on the VHS like jacket. We're old.
Going to the Blockbuster, was it, Matt?
Exactly. Do you remember buying the video games from Blockbuster? If anybody that watches this uh, wants to gauge how old Shane and I are, Google a game called Sly Cooper for the PS2.
You
That's
know what,
we're talking old guys.
Matt? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Remembers all.
Remembers everything. Now, Matt, what's your favorite genre of movies?
Ooh, okay. So there's this director that I really like, called Richard Linklater, and I would say I'm gonna go with drama. I'm gonna go with drama. Like comedy is really awesome, especially when it's done right. Sometimes it's not done right at all. Um, Sci-fi is really cool. Honestly, sci-fi could also be done wrong too. Now I think about it, but and so can drama, anything. But like I would like if I were to write a movie, I say drama is probably my favorite because if I were to write a movie, I would definitely want to be able to write something that has like motion and heart and like, oh, this person is here and they have to go through something that brings them down there, and then something has to push them back up, and then the movie ends and they're back on top, like Rudy or Good Will Hunting or any movie like I don't know. Like most of my top movies are dramas. Pulp Fiction isn't so much drama, but like there's like a lot of movies I like, and I would say yeah, drama. Yeah, this is cool.
And I know that about Matt. And I have a saying, well, this is an interesting segue because who's your favorite filmmaker?
Favorite filmmaker? Okay, yeah. So I mean, if anybody watches the Before trilogy, oh man, so that is some fantastic like writing and acting and like I guess editing too, because it's almost like it's like done as if like it's a whole, it's like a day, not days, it's not scenes, it's just a day. All three movies. But there's like a lot of stuff I would like to say about that trilogy, but I would say Richard Linklater, but then also like other people too. Like Quentin Tarantino is really awesome because when you watch all of his movies, they're so completely different, and it's not it's not like a Scorsese thing where even though he has a lot of movies about a lot of different things, like he has like another string of movies where it's not that it's the same thing, but like a there's like a I don't know how to put it. There's like a feel or a vibe that I get. But then with Quentin Tarantino, how I experience his movies, like they're very, very separate movies. Even though you can definitely tell it's him because of how he talks, how he curses, how bloody things get. The soundtrack is like all over the place in a good way. Like, but you also it's like very different. Uh, there's this I don't know, what did he do? He did Death Proof, which is about like, like a stunt car driver that's like a murderer. He has like criminal like underbelly in LA. He's got like historical like history like weird like offshoot type things, like revisionist kind of stuff. Like he has like a lot of different stuff. I don't know. It just speaks to me, I guess. Yeah, I'll go with those two guys, but then a lot of other people too. Yeah,
Matt's well-rounded. He loves
yeah,
all kinds of different filmmakers, but
yeah.
I
Just give
know
me everything.
I know how much you love Richard Linklater, and he's a really talented filmmaker, and he is able to capture the slice of life better than most directors. From whether it's Dazed and Confused or Everybody Wants Some, the Before trilogy, Boyhood, and you
Boyhood.
even have like Last Flag Flying, which isn't his best work, but I still really enjoyed it. And then you have stuff like School of Rock and
Mm-hmm.
Bernie. Like he
Mm-hmm.
does great work with
Jack Black.
Black. And
Mm-hmm.
some of Jack Black's most inspired work are in Richard Linklater films. And like his muses, you have Ethan Hawke just
Mm-hmm.
really came into his own through Richard Linklater's films. And then of course Tarantino. I'm a huge fan of his like historical films. Like Inglorious Bastards is my favorite Tarantino film. And that movie just fires on all cylinders with such an eclectic cast, just an eclectic set of music, and just Tarantino has a whole genre all of his own, and it's very interesting in that way.
Yeah, like if you watch Pulp Fiction, like I feel like if someone didn't know who Tarantino was and they watched Pulp Fiction and then they watched Inglourious Bastards, like they because Inglourious Bastards is different. There's like a lot of subtitles. Like I feel like a guy that made Pulp Fiction, I don't think he would go and make Inglourious Bastards. Like that is like, but that is the same guy. I don't know. He's very talented. He's very talented. Like,
And
and I can call him out when I don't like something that he does, but the guy is talented. Even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like what the hell? That's awesome.
Cliff Booth is like the coolest character ever in a movie.
Correct. Correct.
Uh, Brad Pitt was he earned that Oscar. He was so perfect in that. Just pitch perfect. Now, Matt, who's your favorite actor or actress?
Favorite actor or actress? So we did the actresses like this weekend.
So shamelessly plug, go check out our most recent podcast.
Exactly, right? Like pause this, open a new tab. What would I say? I really like excuse me. I'll go for actors, I guess I can go Edward Norton, Denzel Washington, I guess everyone would say Robert De Niro. And there is like a reason why everybody said Robert De Niro. Like you can't like if you watch those movies or if you like watch them and it's like, oh, that was a good movie, that's for a good story, but then you watch it over, like if you watch Taxi Driver, and it's like I want to see like the acting in it, or if you watch like the Robert De Niro Cape Fear, like I want to see like the acting in it. There is some acting going on in that. Let me see. There's like a lot of awesome actors and stuff, and then actresses like I mean Emma Stone is cool. Like I'm trying to think. I'm trying to really think. I wish I had like a post note. I should have like made like a list. I don't know. There's like a lot of people. I made my list for the other video.
It's funny because you kept looking up and I'm just going like,
Yeah.
got that
Keep
Niro
pushing.
going on. Like,
Yeah.
and it's so sad because like I had watched The War with Grandpa and like way down. But like the only saving grace is Robert De Niro honestly tried really hard in that movie. And you can tell he was trying. Nothing was saving the rest of that movie. But like I remember like when Sean Connery passed away, my favorite Sean Connery film is The Untouchables. But De Niro. What's every American love? Baseball. Baseball is about a team. And just like beats him, was like, you're allowed to talk in a badge. And just him as Al Capone was just larger than life. And De Niro's like coming back with the Irishman, like shouldn't have had like 70-something-year-old man trying to beat up a guy. Didn't look good. But like he's such a fantastic actor and he's been doing it for so long. And he can do comedy. He can do drama. He can do action. He could be intimidating. And he can be endearing. And he's just a legend at
Yeah,
this.
like there's a movie called Awakenings, which is with Robin Williams, which is good, but it's very different than what's like a very different movie than Awakenings. What's like a very angry movie? Robert De Niro.
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, boom. Yeah.
And
Oh, Goodfellas. Wow. Yeah. That's such an awesome movie.
like watching Goodfellas, it's all about the Pesci for me. Funny how? Funny like a clown. Do I amuse you? Just like you're terrified every time he's on screen because like he's
Mhm.
gonna kill somebody.
I'm so happy that got like an Oscar. Like sometimes like you'll hear like a lot about the not sometimes many times you hear about snubs, but sometimes you'll see like whoa, that person not only deserved it but got it. Like that was fantastic. Oh, and one other thing, I got to put Alfonso Cuarón on there. There's probably like 10 people that I'm blanking out on, but right now Alfonso Cuarón is awesome. And the only reason I'm thinking about that is because behind me, or in front of me, I'm looking at my Harry Potter collection,
Mm.
and that third book being made into a movie, being my favorite movie out of the whole film series, and then him making Et tu m'aimes también and like and Gravity and like his best friend Guillermo del Toro, like there's some awesome people like
Mhm.
him, I think it's Inarritu, Del Toro, and Coran. I think they're like best friends actually. But
Lot,
yeah,
lot of Mexican wins for best director. Like 4 out of 5
so awesome.
years there.
Yeah.
It made me so happy when Guillermo del Toro won for Shape of Water. That was such a nice moment, but none of them beat when Bong Joon-ho won for Best Director this year. Back in the Oscars, it's like I'm gonna go drink the rest of the night.
Yeah, that was so awesome. And then I remember like at the last like acceptance speech, he didn't even want to say anything. He just wanted someone else to talk. That was really funny.
He made his Oscars kiss. Um, now, what is a film, Matt, that you feel like you can watch literally every day?
Okay, so I don't want to say Pulp Fiction again, even though yes. Oh wow, a film I could watch every day. I mean, if I want to, hmm. So childhood movies, The Incredibles is awesome. Like just because I remember watching it in the theater multiple times, and then also like another childhood movie is like it's Jurassic Park, like the series, not just the first one, not just the first and second one, but the third one. The third one is kind of weird, but I kind of like it. But like childhood stuff, and then maybe like as I get older, maybe like any of the movies that we have like already said on this list, Pulp Fiction would be on there. Um, Good Will Hunting would be on there. I guess it would depend on my mood. Did I want to see something that's like funny? Like Get Him to the Greek is probably the funniest movie I've ever seen in my and Super Bad, like the funniest movie. Forgetting Sarah Marshall's also pretty good.
Oh,
Like
I could watch that every day too.
yeah,
Oh my God.
I think one
You
of
need
one
some
of the
therapy. I need therapy.
yeah, I have to Google, not Google. I have to see if that's on Netflix still because it's like getting close to the end of the month, and like I want to make sure like I watch everything before they take things off. Because I hate that. But yeah, I
I
would
want
say
to
I
see
could really
Dracula the musical.
do it.
I want to see Dracula the musical. Like I legitimately would pay money to watch Dracula the musical.
Like they're like Muppets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. And it's just like you wore the same sweatpants for 6 days in a row. You shall not pass.
Yes,
It's like
yes,
you bought me
yes.
this for my cereal, so it wouldn't go stale. And as somebody who eats cereal a lot, I can understand you want to make sure that your cereal doesn't go stale. You need to have one of those plastic containers.
Yeah,
And,
they're super giant. Like,
and like that montage of him like having sad breakup sex, like
mhm,
one night
mhm,
stands, and the one girl's like, mm, mm, I came. And just like
mhm.
what? Watching this. Oh, that's such a great one. But like, I also agree. I could watch The Incredibles every day. Like, I legitimately think The Incredibles is probably the best Pixar film. And
Mm.
they made the best Fantastic Four movie. They made a great Watchmen movie. Like, they took all
Hmm.
of these ideas and dynamics and did them so well. And then it makes you think, why can't you make Fantastic Four work? Fox.
Hmm. Hmm. And then
And
what did the director say? He was like, "Well, the studio like cut my movie up to hell, but there's a really good version out there." I feel like everyone is saying that
I
now.
I don't want to hear no Josh Trank. Like, and now we're getting a Zack Snyder Justice League that's 2.5 hours longer than the original one.
I really hope that's good. If it's not good,
So
that's gonna be
this is a bait and
bad.
switch, Matt, because this is not Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. This is a whole
Mm.
different movie.
Oh, he's like adding the scenes now, right?
Yeah, they're doing a ton of reshoots. They're adding 2.5 hours of footage.
Mm.
Like, and they're adding the Joker in, who wasn't in his original version of the film. So at this point, he's just, oh, we're never actually going to see that Snyder cut, the
Mhm.
actual Snyder cut. Now it's just doing something completely different on top of that, and I'm gonna watch it,
Mhm.
and I hope I enjoy it. But the thing is, here's my thing. Do you know what the biggest problem I had with Batman v Superman was? Zack Snyder.
Mhm.
So why do I want to watch like a movie that's just even more him? He doesn't.
Because you
He
know
has
that like
great.
or at least I'm assuming they're gonna like take some of the reins off of him a little bit because everyone's been hyping him up. Like fans have been saying we want this thing, and like I'm guessing Warner Brothers is gonna be like, all right, well, give it all you
If
got.
you if you all go to HBO Max and get HBO Max subscriptions and go stream this movie, we'll gladly put whatever on there.
Mm,
Honestly, it's what Netflix does. They just pump out a bunch of crap,
yeah.
especially around the holidays and crappy rom-coms, and they know people are just going to watch them, put them on in the background. They're like, here you go.
Rating.
No. Now, Matt, what film do you have a special connection to because it relates to another interest of yours?
Ah, okay. Um, American Psycho. No, I'm kidding. That'd be wild.
Was it the business part or the psycho part?
Exactly.
Or no, was it it's the Huey Lewis in the news? It has to be.
Exactly. Um, let's see. I think an interest of mine. I guess I would go with Good Will Hunting just because like that is my job to be a therapist and I like my job. And it's very interesting to see like how do I put this? You can definitely tell from the movie, like you meet the therapist character, like Robert Williams is playing. You can definitely tell like this guy's been doing this for a very long time. This guy is incredibly smart. He knows exactly what to say. Maybe he doesn't do everything he's supposed to do in that movie. Like maybe you shouldn't get pissed off and choke your client, even if they say something bad about your wife. Like, but he does such a good job, and there's so many like I think I said this in like the top 10 movie thing, but there's like so many moments in the movie that basically speak to me either as an interest in terms of like my job or just on a personal level because it's like life at some point is going to beg you to like problem solve, find a solution and move forward. And you're going and that's not a painless thing, but it is that is literally like imperative. You have to do it. You have to do it. You have to figure out what that is, who can help you. You have to be vulnerable and honest. and ready to change. And then when you are, then you gotta do it. And you might be sort of like looking over the cliff and not knowing what's down there, but you're gonna have to sort of like take the plunge, because maybe like something standing on the edge of that cliff is a lot worse than like going into like the unknown. That's not a good metaphor. That's weird, but you know what I mean.
So, couple thoughts.
Maybe I should have said the pool and not said a cliff. You know what I
So
mean.
you know that I know Matt so well. I would have bet money that was going to be your answer to that question, was Good Will Hunting,
I
which, because I
love.
know how much you care about your job. And
Yeah.
and so two other thoughts. When you're talking about standing close to the edge, I'm like, 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking, maybe 6 feet ain't so far down. Not gonna lie, that's exactly what popped in my head when you were talking about that.
Whoa. Shane, this is like less of the interview and more just like I just remember, I guess, and everybody that like your viewers, you singing, for some reason it made me think of you in music, which made me think of Rush, like a conversation long time ago we had about Rush, and you showed me like your vinyl collection, and then it just reminded me that I think I'm almost positive Ready Player 2 comes out next week. I think so. Fact check
Oh my
that.
God, it's November already.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, I'm almost positive. That's
Oh.
big. Yeah, but yeah, I love. So sorry,
And Matt
shameless
knows my
plug.
biggest criticism of Ready Player One, the film, was that they gutted the Rush out of it. So I automatically could not love the film because they took all the Rush out of it.
One more thing. A movie that I could totally watch over and over again. Any of the Austin Powers movies. That they're not deep at
Yeah,
all.
baby, yeah.
Like they're really, really funny, and it's all like basement humor. Like it's not. We're not talking about Frasier dialogue here, but it is hilarious.
No, my name is Fraser Crane. It's more like, I want my baby back, baby back. I want my baby back ribs. I'll give you your mojo if you give me your baby.
Oh man, that is so
I'm gonna
awesome.
eat ya.
Oh, and Locke and Shrek 2. I once watched Locke like a month ago. I saw it and then I was like, I'm not tired, so I rewatched it. That's what I do instead of reading. I got to get back to reading. I know,
I'm
but
probably going to be watching Shrek and Shrek 2 on my birthday. So now, Matt, who's a movie character that you feel like you personally connect to?
oh wow, that is a really good question. I almost feel like I want to switch places so I can ask you the questions, because I'm sitting in this on this side of it. It's hard. Um, let's see, a movie character that I connect to. Um, 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 I think. Oh wow, that's an interesting question. Movie characters that I usually connect to are it like so. I guess it kind of goes back with like why I like drama, where like a lot of the movie just the things that I like to watch when I see it. Like I like to be able to really get under like under the surface of someone, because there are movies out there, and sometimes they're good, so they're not good character wise. Sometimes you watch a movie and you don't really understand exactly what's going on under the surface. They're kind of just like there, and you don't. Sometimes you don't have to know what's going on. So like the wolf in Pulp Fiction, you don't have to know what's going on under the sword. He's thinking about what his life was like.
Pretty
He's
please,
supposed to be a mystery.
pretty please, with sugar on top. Go clean that from car.
Yeah, like I love that. I love that. But then there's like other ones where like you get like a like a really deep like Taxi Driver, like you'll get like a really deep understanding of like what the heck is going on. Even then, that's kind of like a Mr. Vegas a little bit, but like
Some
I don't
characters
know.
you don't want to get into the head of.
Yeah, like it's kind of like whoa. But somebody that I identify with, I'm just gonna say because I'm not creative tonight. I'm just gonna say Michael Cera's character in uh
Super bad.
I guess super bad, but then also in Juno too. Not because of what happened to him in Juno, but just like that unsure.
Matt's not a father.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. I all my money goes to Amazon and takeout, not diapers and binkies, which is also bad. But whatever. I'll figure that out next year. But yeah, I would say I'm gonna say Juno, and I'm gonna say Michael Cera. Michael Cera is my Patronus, which is the corniest sentence I've ever
You
said.
know what's funny that you say Michael Cera because so this isn't a movie character, but this is a TV show character. Is Michael Bluth. Like I feel with my family how it is, and I feel like I'm always in the middle of some crazy, stupid nonsense. And I'm just like, I'm Michael Bluth. And I'm just like, I remember watching Arrested Development for the first time and just being like, oh my God, this is me. Oh my God. And like, I felt for him on a deep personal level. Just
Oh,
dealing with
dude,
it.
I recommend you should watch a show called what is it? Malcolm in the Middle. Again, not TV, not movie, but I think you would like it for the same exact reason. Except it would be you'd have to think back to kid Shane, and then him kind of like looking out at the world around him. I think I remember like kind of connecting with him too, because there's certain things that happen in the show where it's like either at school or just it makes adults seem super wacky, but like it's not The Simpsons, so it's like real life people, but they're just acting in like this surreal way. But like I don't know, but you'd have to look at that and kind of like think back to, am I taking crazy pills? Like
I invented the piano key necktie, Derek. What have you made? Nothing. Blue
oh
Steel, Latigra, it's all the same face.
oh man, I love that. I love
You got to. Now, Matt, what
that.
movie do you love that you feel like people would be surprised to find out that you loved?
Ooh, okay. A surprising movie. Um, I mean, if anybody says they're a Godzilla fan, I think the immediate thing is like a trendy thing is to say like, yeah, well, you don't like the one like the Godzilla from 1999, right? I actually like that movie, even though everyone like says like dumpster fire. What did you say that made me
Iguanazilla.
laugh? See what?
Iguanazilla.
Exactly, the iguana. Like like everyone else thinks it's trash. I just really like it. Even though Godzilla's like running around, he's not fire. He's not breathing any fire. He's eating fish, and and Matthew Broderick is like maybe taking up a little bit too much screen time. It's still a good movie. I love it. I love it. I'm trying to think of
Godzilla
any
fan
other.
right here.
Wait, what?
The Godzilla fan right here with
Oh
your
yeah.
poster right behind you.
um, yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
That's a
It's
good
probably a
one.
better answer. A movie that I wouldn't want other people to know, but then it's like, screw it, whatever. I like this movie.
That's fair. Now, Matt, my last question for you is what do you love most about movies?
What do I love most about movies? Wow. Okay. Um. Okay. So I remember. So I remember when I was in high school, senior in high school, and uh, I'm like was and is like currently even like I'm pretty like to myself kind of quiet, but I'm really good at kind of like sitting back and observing maybe not always like participating, but definitely like, observing. And but I know that like I'm about to go to college, so you gotta do a little bit more. You gotta prep. You gotta kind of like throw yourself out there. And then I get there, and then it's like, wait, no, you don't. But I didn't know that yet. That's you find that out later. But spoiler alert. um, that's an option. But so what I did is that I tried to watch as many movies as I possibly could because I wanted to like be ready to like have like conversations to with like excuse me, kind of like anybody, any kind of film fan, not just like the not just like the super famous like pop culture ones, but also kind of like the weird ones, like I don't know, just like random stuff. And kind of maybe not like think of any genre that you can possibly imagine, and then look at like the movies that are like forgotten, or maybe like the foreign language stuff. I like movies because it either you can find something that talks to you on like a personal level, or you could find something that like can help you bridge the gap in between. And not just documentaries, but definitely documentaries as well. That's probably like the easiest way, but that you can do something like that. But like if you could find a way to like at least for like an hour and a half and everything that you find familiar, kind of put yourself in somebody else's shoes, or take what you find familiar and then realize that other people feel like that, live like that, think that way, have experienced that. Like that's pretty awesome. I have never wrestled in my life, but I love the wrestler. And I know like I can talk to Shane about like the wrestler, and also like I could also try to wrestle Shane. But like
And Matt would lose because I'm considerably larger than Matt.
I have moxie. You can tell because I
Fair,
use the
Matt.
word moxie. Yeah, but like I don't know, like you can bridge. That's how I met you, Shane. Like through like a movie club.
Yeah.
Like
If you go to Rider University, join Rider's Alternative Films Club. Do it right
yes,
now.
yes. They give popcorn. Who says no to popcorn? I don't know. It's just you can you can learn so much out there, and it's not just like learn kind of like oh, I'm gonna watch the movie that's based on a book, so like I can like no, but you can really like, learn and feel something, and you can walk away with like a different understanding. It's just as powerful as kind of like either like reading a book, or it might be like just one step below like talking to somebody that like you might not have like that much in common with, or like whatever. Like my roommate in college, like we didn't really have too much to talk about, but I remember the first some of the first ever conversations I had with him is we were talking about movies, like weird movies and old movies. And he was like, have you ever heard of a movie where I forget the name, but it's like a bunch of snow is everywhere, and there's like this cop and she's pregnant, and there's this foot. And I was like, you talking about Fargo? And he was like, yeah, that one. Everyone like talks weird. And I was like, yeah, Fargo.
You
Like,
betcha,
and then we had
yeah.
like a whole conversation, like, and then don't chime off. Like, yeah, there's like just you can just connect with people. So I love movies for that. Yeah,
I
and
really
it's really
appreciate your
cool.
answer, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I can't write one, but one day. But until then, I'll just connect. Can't make one, but I'll connect with them.
Now, Matt, so it is your time now to ask your Wasteland reviewer. So you can ask me one question.
Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Um, resist urge to be a jerk. No. Let me see. What could I ask you, Shane? Um. Ooh. Okay. I was like driving to work today, and I and then I was thinking, you know what we should do for the podcast? We should think about, maybe we should do this one day. Um, what is the most what is the weirdest movie you've ever, or weirdest movie scene you've ever seen? What's the one that comes to mind? And you've seen so many movies, whether it be horror, drama, a mixture of the two, whatever, anything. But like, what's the first one that comes to mind when I say weird? Like, what the hell was that? Yeah.
So I've definitely seen weirder at this point, but I remember watching 2001: A Space Odyssey for the first time.
Okay.
And when the starts swelling after, spoiler alert for a film from like 1968, when Hal gets shut down and the monolith starts floating through space and causing this convergence, and Dave winds up getting sent through a wormhole. And for the next 20 minutes, you're just like, what the hell am I watching? And the colors, the weird shapes, the negative, like the film negative version of like Earth that you're watching. And then you're in this like strange, futuristic yet Victorian era kind of room. And Dave's watching himself as an old man. And then he turns into a giant space baby. And you're just like,
Like, if you were to write down everything you just said, someone would probably think, "Shane, are you okay?" But no, that's that's step by step
it
what
is
happens.
exactly what happens in the movie. And you're sitting there like, Stanley Kubrick, what the F is going on in your head? And because like there's other scenes in Kubrick films that are just straight weird. Like the whole like furry, the guy dressed in the dog suit in The Shining. What's up with that? And the scene in Eyes Wide Shut with the young girl and the two middle-aged Asian men in like the costume shop. What the hell's going on there? And don't even get me started on the whole entire like creepy mask orgy. Like Kubrick takes the cake there. But thinking about, there's a lot of films out there that are honestly just too art house for me. And I appreciate them. They're ambitious, they're crazy, and some directors just go there. And like I remember the film I recommended to you, The House That Jack Built. Like where the ending of that movie goes.
Yeah, that movie. That movie, I saw things in that movie that I had never seen in a movie before. Something gets thrown on somebody's windshield. That's weird. A metaphor for someone hunting deer. That's weird. Do you remember that? That was hard to watch.
I can also say any film made by Ari Aster or Robert Eggers too.
Oh yeah, dude. I like, don't go into those movies with like like a full stomach. Like, you're gonna feel queasy and bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for me, like the most impactful strange scene that I've seen in a movie was definitely Jupiter and Beyond the Infinite in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Because boy, do you go beyond.
The music, dude. The music is so good, so good, and it's like, wow. Like, I remember when I first watched that movie. Like, at the end, like I knew I was watching something that like I didn't get it on an emotional level, but I liked it enough. I was like, so like later on, like a couple months later, I watched it again, and then like, I got it on an emotional level. That ending scene like made me tear up. Like if you see the
That
star baby,
I remember sitting through that and feeling emotionally affected by just the
damn, that should have been
awe.
my question. That
Huh?
should have been my question. What is a movie that you cried in? That should have been my question. Damn
Oh,
it.
well, I can still answer it for you. Movies that I've cried in. So I'm going to leave it to crying in a theater. So I teared up in Logan because
Logan.
that
Yeah.
was an emotional moment for me with that movie ending. 20 years of my life being influenced basically by X-Men and specifically Wolverine. And then I cried in Avengers Endgame.
Mhm.
I teared up, which I probably shouldn't. Seriously, though, if you are a Marvel fan and you haven't seen Endgame at this point, what are you doing? But like,
Mhm.
there's one particular scene, and it actually it's probably not the one that most people would think that it is. It's something with Captain America and his last scene in that film made me tear up.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought you were gonna say like when Ant-Man he sees someone that he hasn't seen in a long time.
So I cried the second time I saw the film at that point.
Oh, at that one, okay, because that made
So
me.
the
I was
first
like,
time I watched Endgame, I teared up once at the very, very end. And then oddly enough, the second time I watched it, I teared up during that scene you're talking about and at the very end.
I just noticed, Shane, why don't I have that DVD? Wait, what? Why do I not have that DVD, Shane?
I have uh I have a Steelbook 4K of Endgame. I might
And
watch
you
that
also
on
have
my
that cool
birthday.
limited edition poster that like when they were handing them out, I was like, "Ah, I don't want one. It's okay." And then like now I'm like, what? I should have got the poster. You still have it, right? The with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's in my closet right now. But like, and I got emotionally moved by portals in Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I have all the
Mm-hmm.
goosebumps down my arms and everything, and I'm just like, but yeah, I've cried during movies before, and it's interesting. Both of those were comic book movies, um, but there's been like I am a pretty expressive person, so like I've been emotionally moved by movies, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So, but yeah,
Can I ask one more question before you end it?
okay.
Okay, let me see. What is a movie that is probably so small, like no one has ever heard of it, but you wish other people have heard of it? For me, it's a movie called Primer. I really like that movie. Also, a messed up movie. So a mix in between what's a messed up movie slash scene slash movie that I can see over and over again because I just like it, even though it's really messed up. Requiem for a Dream. I really like that a lot, actually. For like, it's just I like what it's about. It's like three different ways in which addiction can. I mean, there's like a lot of cool stuff in that. But yeah, what is like a movie that's like super small and you really wish like, oh, man, why am I the only one? I'm probably like one of like 10 people that have seen this movie.
I'm like looking at my movie collection because like I can think of some like immediate ones that I think would be something that I wish more people would see. So like I have some from like 2020 that are small. Like I I loved this film Extraordinary that came out. It's just really quirky Irish like paranormal comedy. That was a lot of fun that I highly recommend. Like um there's so many great films that, like, I feel like box office wise, they just completely bombed, and I wish more people would have seen them. And
That's like a hard question too. Yeah, I
right,
know. I
I
was like
feel like
randomly thinking. Well, I was half asking that because like I want a movie recommendation, so that's selfish. But then
one
I'm
film
also
I
kind of
do
curious.
love that it did get Oscar buzz, but it's still a small film that I hope more people should watch is Brooklyn. It's a beautiful film, and Saoirse Ronan and like Donald Gleason's in it as well, and Jim Broadbent has a smaller role in it, but like it's Saoirse Ronan's film, and it's a beautiful little film. It feels like a very traditional little kind of film, but I love every moment of it.
That's awesome.
But
Ooh, a filmmaker that I like. This guy, I think he made a movie called The Priest, and then I think Martin McDowell, something.
right.
Did he do three
Oh,
billboards?
Martin McDonough
Boom, there we go. I like that guy. I
with
like that guy.
In Bruges, Seven Psychopaths, Three Billboards, and then his brother did Cavalry. That's another one.
Cavalry, there we go. That's the movie,
I
not The
loved
Priest. The Cavalry.
Cavalry. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen that with Brendan Gleeson and Chris O'Dowd, go check that one out. That was and like in hindsight and realizing that that's Martin McDonough's brother who made that, I'm like, makes a lot of sense. Because I
Yeah.
think originally you thought it was Martin McDonough. I'm like, that definitely wasn't him. And then I looked up like, oh, well, it was his brother.
Oh,
So
with TT. Why I don't know why I didn't say that either. Wow. See, it's really hard to think of like just one.
Hunt for the Wilder People. You all should go watch Hunt for the Wilder People.
And it's on Netflix right now. Or maybe Hulu. I think it's on Netflix. It should be on Netflix right now. Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. And then
Go
watch
join
like find his other movies too, like The Boy or something like
Boy,
that.
Hunt for the Wilder People, What We Do in the Shadows, which I feel like that's gotten a lot more attention because of the show, which the show is amazing too. Uh, you
Three
go,
thumbs up.
Micah. But alrighty. Thank you for joining me, Matt, on this episode of Lost in the Wasteland. This was a lot of fun as always. But thank you all for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.